me feeling like I'm academics.
So, if you guys don't know the conclusion of the Meg Thee Stallion and Milagro Cooper case happened today, I want to show you what ended up being the result. Okay? By the way, I believe, well, maybe it wasn't posted. Give me a second. See, I'm always fucking up somewhere, somehow, chat. Yeah. There we go. Give me 1 second. Give me 2 seconds. Fuck. All right. By the way, I hate dead air, so I apologize. Here we go. Okay. Oh, that's why I didn't go up yet. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, there we go. All right, should be up. Okay, so if you guys go to the Akademiks.blog, this should be up there. So anyway, it's kind of outdated at this point because this is actually not factually correct anymore. But Meg Thee Stallion, and yeah, this is really not correct, but we'll get into the full thing. I pulled it up for the legal documents. If you guys don't know, you guys could always go to the Akademiks.blog for legal documents. So anyway, so Meg Thee Stallion won in court versus Milagro Cooper, right? This is Meg Thee Stallion. This is Milagro. Can you see my mouse? Yeah. This is Meg. This is Milagro. And I keep hearing like there's like a ton of people like they're on social media. Like I think these people are just they're wallowing in their own personal failures because they're like crying. Yo, why did you sue Milagro? Why did you sue Joe? Why did you sue? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know, nor do I give a fuck why Meg didn't sue me or whatever the case is. I believe what Milagro was saying about her stung more for a few reasons. They're both from Houston, and they're both women. That's what I think. I personally think Meg looks at men and say niggas gonna be niggas. But I think the words of another woman, and I will say Milagro was one of the only women who didn't go on this, we're just going to believe blindly whatever a woman alleges. She was the only person that says, you know what? Let me see some more information. And she was one of the only women I saw online to say, you know what? Even though I'm a woman, it would be an injustice to sit back and watch a man get taken advantage of by the criminal justice system if he's actually innocent. Usually that's not the words of women because they usually side on the same side of their own gender. And, clearly that's how I was introduced to Milagro. She went to the trial. She gave us her account. Regardless, we do know Tory was convicted. And he was convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which would mean that he shot, or the jury believes he shot Meg Thee Stallion. Now, even though that verdict came down, a lot of people, including myself, were all skeptical. Why? I've said it repeatedly. I've said it in the deposition. I'll say it here. I said, well, Meg Thee Stallion has had multiple versions of multiple stories. She says she never had an intimate relationship with Tory. Then she later said on the stand she did. She says she didn't get shot. Then later she says she did. Again, I'm one of the people that once I realized, and I said this in the deposition, once I realize you're a liar, I can't trust nothing you say. If you tell me it's dark outside, and even though it's 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Eastern on the East Coast, if I deem you a liar, I'm going to go outside to check for myself. I really just can't believe you. And for that reason, I've always been skeptical of Meg Thee Stallion and any claim she's ever made. I was skeptical of the details and how she described it in how Tori supposedly shot her. And also, I just use my own brain as somebody who has been in messy, toxic, whatever situations. And I'm trying to imagine in what situation that, this supposed like story mode, like Tori grabs a gun, dance, bitch, dance, pop, 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 pop. Trying to piece the story together from you're clearly cool with the dude, you invited him to the pool. He's trying to hit on another girl. He fucked your homegirl, allegedly, but he's also fucking you. Your homegirl realizes that y'all are fucking. If y'all ever been in a situation where two women know they've been sharing the same dick and they're in the same room, if y'all know how that go, it usually just don't skip a whole step to a nigga pulling out a gun and shooting one of the women. Like, that didn't make sense. So, for me, I always try to use common sense, right? And if things didn't make sense, I would call it out, right? Now, I believe Milagro was maybe somewhat similar in my thinking of, shit gotta make sense. Anyway, despite that, her criticisms and other things resulted in her being sued. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is where like the weirdos of the internet, like, Act Your Next. Join the line. Like everybody's like thinking I'm like fucking shaking in my boots. Who gives a fuck? You get what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, you know what I mean? I've paid more than attorney fees that y'all have made in 10 lifetimes. Get over it. Like, I'm not shook of anything. It's okay. So the point is this. I think Meg realized she had a possibility, and I think this is all a PR move. She wanted to get a win. Okay? She wanted to do what Cardi B did versus Tasha K. Now, I want to really, again, because I agree with the Tasha K Cardi B verdict. And it's not only because maybe I'm not the best of friends with Tasha K and I love Cardi B, but I want to explain this to you guys. Tasha K claimed Cardi B had herpes and was endangering her child by constantly kissing her on the mouth and possibly spreading a sexually transmitted disease to her own kid. I want you guys to hear what I'm saying. She made very exact claims that how would you even know some private information about someone's medical history? And when you start accusing someone of having sexually transmitted disease, you better have some proof. Cardi B reached out in private. Hey, that's not true. Could you cut it out? She refused. They sent her notices. Hey, could you stop doing this? This isn't true. You continue to do this, we're going to have to take legal action. She ignored it, and vehemently opposed it every time. So now they get to court. All right, prove she got herpes. You can't? All right, bet. They're going to give you the hammer. And this is why, I don't think Tasha K necessarily likes me, but I just got to speak truth to facts. It's like, I can't really rally behind you. And I love all my independent journalists and independent media outlets. If I said somebody had AIDS consistently, and I acted like I had some type of inside info, and I'm making this claim, this person tells me to stop 10 times, and they get to court, and now they're saying, how did you know this motherfucker has AIDS? And I can't prove it, and the judge says you owe them $5 million, I'm just dumb. That's the reality behind it. No disrespect to Tasha K. I don't want to start beefing with you again, because I do like, recently you've been trying to champion new media, and we're all in the same pool, no matter what, right? But that's what I thought about the Cardi B Tasha K case. Here's the thing with Meg Thee Stallion and Milagro that everybody keeps thinking it's the same. It's not the same. Meg Thee Stallion doesn't like criticism at all. I don't know why she's a celebrity. Meg Thee Stallion doesn't like that people don't blanketly believe that she feels or that eventually her story has turned to he shot me. You didn't say that at first. You say you stepped on glass. When at first you came online, you were unwilling to speak. Then when he pissed you off, it's like listen to every scorned girlfriend. First his dick small, then he's gay, then I just don't fuck with him, he broke. How many things are you going to get to before you actually just tell the truth? He found someone more attractive than you and he just cut you off and now you're salty. That's the truth. But you tell 5 different versions before. I know salty women. They say anything. I've had an ex that told a chick, I just got chlamydia from him. You know why? She's salty. Lies. Everybody knows that. Okay, cool. The point is this. When I seen Meg start moving like that, I'm like, I don't know what to believe. Okay? Her issue isn't that she wanted justice. Did she get justice? I would believe that if you get someone incarcerated for 10 years, you got justice. So Tory is locked up. And no matter who cares if everybody's saying, or not everybody, but there's a group of people saying free Tory, or they feel he was wrongly incarcerated. The point is he's incarcerated. You got justice. He shot you in your final opinion or your final story, and he's incarcerated for shooting you. What more do you want? It's never been just about justice. It's about sympathy and trying to get some Cinderella type of love to propel a career that's really, it's like a treadmill. You're running in place, you're going nowhere. She wants everybody to fuck with her. She wants to be Rihanna post the Chris Brown thing. The reality is you're not likable. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it's true. Remember I told you, it's so interesting the difference between women and men. They love to say when I criticize women, it's misogynistic. But think about this. I tell you every day, if I was supposed to listen to the internet, I would have been had the noose up and I would have been hung myself. They say the worst thing about me every day. You know what I got to do? I got to go sit up in the Maybach, or I got to go spend some money and just feel good, because you know what? No matter what they say about me online, I'm living a decent life and I'm happy. You got to get over it. When I see that little white girl that Drake gave like 3 interviews to, where he's laid up in bed with her, Bobby Alton, like, they're so mean to me and my new boyfriend. Bitch, shut up. The internet is going to pick and choose the villains and the damsel in distress. They picked Rihanna as a damsel in distress. The real Rihanna story is Rihanna was, not that I agree that Chris Brown should put his hands on him, but Rihanna was slapping the fuck out of Chris Brown, beating up on him, and Chris reacted. That don't matter. They pick Rihanna as the victim. We love Rihanna. I don't want to go back into that. For whatever reason, they're not picking you, shorty. They don't believe you're some sympathetic figure. It could have to do with mad different reasons. They've seen you with 10 dudes in a year. They think you're a certain type of person. They feel like whatever it is, they're not picking you. Goes back to, I'm telling you this because as much as they try to call me misogynistic, I'm treating niggas and women the same. Because I don't get up online and say why they don't like me. I know why niggas don't like me. Some of y'all favorite rappers, nigga, I dug a 8-feet ditch and I put their careers there. I get it. So the day that y'all find out, like, oh, I could get act, y'all gonna say whatever. Oh shit, yeah, act's weird, act's this, act's bro, act. You will say anything because I'm not the most likable person for everybody. My audience loves me, but I've accepted that outside of the comforts of the chat nigga community, you're gonna have people say everything about me. I accept it. It's what comes with the gig. I keep telling you, the gig is the gig. If I wanted to be liked, I wouldn't give controversial opinions, or I would just speak as whatever the public is or the majority is saying. I've gone against public narrative and public perception. Most of the people I like, people hate. When nobody wanted to talk to 6ix9ine, who's saying, oh, that's my boy. Because I don't give a fuck. I have to live in it, bask in it, but I can't complain when people don't agree with me or throw hate at me no matter what. Look, chat. I'm about to, look, by the way, this donation shit is whatever. I'm already working on it. We're donating either 15 or 20,000 to, it's a high school in Jamaica, right? Not one blog is going to cover it. By the way, we're working on it right now. So, and by the way, thank you guys for any of your donations. I told you, whatever you guys donated, I'm going to jump up. It's going to be 15 or 20 grand. We found a particular school. The roof was blown off of the school with the hurricane. We were going to donate. Nobody's going to cover it. Nobody's going to be like, Ack's a good person. Nobody's going to be like, yo, I could have used this. No, nobody. But I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to sit here and sulk and cry and, oh, you're not making me seem like a good guy. I'm going to sue. Which we'll get back to that in a second. But that's what Megan Thee Stallion's doing. That's simply it. She got justice. And then her plight is to sue people to make her a victim. Now, for the dummies in the back, I know she's going with this defamation shit. But it's really bullshit. She really got Milagro for what is a deepfake porn that the jury agreed that she promoted by verbally telling her audience, go check my likes if y'all want to see the porn of Meg. And it was a deep fake video, which means it was fake. It was not real. And in Florida statute, it means that if you promoted a fake pornographic image that you were trying to have people believe it's real, when you knowingly knew it was fake, you are liable. And she was ruled liable. Now, let's get into the ruling. We've gone over so much of this case. I've told you I don't have a defense. I rock with Milagro, but I didn't tell her to go tweet out a naked video or whatever, or to talk about. It ain't that deep for me. I don't give. Like, in my opinion, I think Meg is bust down Tatiana for the industry. That's my opinion. Blueface just came out saying while she was nursing that leg of hers, he pulled up over there to offer some fake sympathy and got some head. So come on now, bro, we're not making this shit up. We're hearing the niggas talk about it. Yeah, after I heard she got shot, I showed up trying to check on her and make sure she good. Yeah, I got some sucky. In the same interview, the nigga said, I don't give a fuck if she was shot or not. Got some head and dip. Come on, chat. Nobody's making this shit up. This is a perception about Shorty. It's a perception about Shorty, gang. So, what I cared about when it came to this entire case is, will Meg Thee Stallion be successful at outlawing criticisms, non-belief, or people that don't like her? Again, I've said to all y'all, if you could outlaw people not liking you or speaking ill of you, well, I have a lot of lawsuits to file. By the way, I want to announce, and we're going to get into this, but I do want to announce, and I think this is the best way to get into it. Let me make sure this is clear when I do it. Hold on. I need some lotion in my hands. I want to announce, people. I do want to announce. Unbeknownst to most of y'all watching, and unbeknownst to the public, me and my small group of people who work with me, and we have been working with attorneys, we were in the process of preparing to file a lawsuit versus Meg Thee Stallion. I want this abundantly clear and obvious. And I want to explain, and today is a hiccup, and I'm going to tell you why, and we're going to get into this case. Because we anticipated that Meg, through whether it's clear bias of the judge, whether it's whatever Rock Nation sleight of hand, was probably going to be successful in some facet versus Milagro Cooper, who doesn't have enough resources to really properly go to war versus the Avengers. So, we were taking action. By the way, I also want to let y'all know, Rock Nation, through their many investigators and how they harassed me, particularly, in terms of having me to post for 9 hours, I realized if they gonna have something for me, I probably gotta have something for them. Don't you worry. So I said, I'm gonna, and I met with the legal minds around me. We were in the process of crafting this lawsuit. Now, I'm again, everything I'm saying here is fast, but I wanna tell you where it stands today, and we're gonna get into this. And really, today's decision affects how I have to move forward. Why would I sue? Well, everything. If you play the legal game, as Meg is trying to play the legal game, you have to look for precedents, right? Like in the Drake and Kendrick thing, even though Drake didn't sue Kendrick, Drake sued the labels. Drake getting that lawsuit tossed out, which we're going to give an update on the petition that still exists in Bexar County. We're going to get to that. But Drake getting that lawsuit tossed out tells every other artist, if somebody says something about you on record, don't sue your record label, because it's not going to go far. They have precedent. The precedent is Drake lawsuit versus the label pertaining to Kendrick Lamar's song got tossed out. It's all about precedent. So I anticipated that Meg was going to have maybe a monumental win. What would be a monumental win? It would be a Cardi B-like win. Hey, you're awarded $4 or $5 million. And this $4 to $5 million judgment means you've bankrupted Milagro. You've kind of like almost handicapped her entire operation, and maybe you have like ran her out of business, all because she didn't agree with the jury verdict in the criminal case against Tory Lanez, and also because she isn't that favorable to you. So what I said is, if it could be taken on face value, and by the way, one of the things that Meg was seeking was damages for what she called as emotional distress. Basically, you're speaking bad about me. You have caused me stress. You have sent me to... So, in anticipating what, and obviously, I knew Roc Nation doesn't spend $2 million already. They've, based on me and a couple of lawyers, shout out to my man, even Bradford Cohen, I'm out of Florida. They're like, at minimum, they've spent $120,000 on your deposition. At minimum. 9 hours, 2 different locations. They're doing the most. Cool. So I said, we're going to have to make sure we're good. Now, I said, if Meg feels like she could sue because people make jokes at her expense, people are not nice to her, people don't believe her, well, that's what is called precedence. Here's what my lawsuit was going to be based off, chat. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Right here. Yo, chat. Now, I'm going to tell you why I was crafting a lawsuit around this. Right? Meg Thee Stallion claims she paid $240,000 twice to go in a 5-week rehab program because of mean words said by Milagro Cooper that affected her mental health that required therapy. And I said, wow, if that's good enough to file a lawsuit, does anybody ever say mean words to Akademiks? They do it all the time. Has Meg ever said some mean words to me? Absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you. And I remember this very clearly. After a short back and forth with me and Meg Thee Stallion, right, where she accused me of lying, she says something that sent me in a spiral into severe depression. It cost me a shit ton of money. And I realized that this was my time. If she's successful in doing the same versus Milagro, I got a case versus her. Let me tell you where. Chat. This is the tweet right here. Hold up, we're going to put it up. Here we go. Hold on. It's not that. Where is it at? It's right here. This was her Instagram post where she says, "Big Ack, little boy, please. Why would you post there was no DNA found but now saying it's inconclusive? How are you specifically able to see documents before they come out in court? What you saying is his lawyer sharing evidence with bloggers? Got it. Take your big ass on somewhere." Now, I'm not going to lie to you, chat. If anybody knows me, ever since I've been public online, I've been getting fat shamed, and it's sent me into mental depression. I never shared this shit with y'all. It's made me contemplate Ozempic, Contape, all type of shit for weight loss. You know what I mean? This shit really fucked me up. I lost a lot of money. McDonald's tried to sponsor me one time, and because of her tweet, her post, I was ashamed. I couldn't take that fucking sponsor. I lost out on money. So if Meg could body shame me, take your big ass on somewhere, wow. I didn't eat for a week. The people around me could testify to that. When I seen this, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. There were food companies that want to do some collabs. I couldn't do it. I lost out on bread. So if she could sue Milagro because she claims that she lost out on $20 million based on Milagro's conduct, well, I lost out on shit. After you call me fat, I couldn't do no collabs, no endorsements with food companies. You know how long DoorDash was trying to sponsor me? I couldn't do it then. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I stopped eating for a week. McDonald's wanted to get on again before Casanat had a meal. Before these niggas had a meal, they wanted the Big Ack meal. Check it. Big Mac, Big Ack. Come on, man. Chat. I was almost getting the bag, but when I was going to sign that lucrative deal, I couldn't do it. All I could hear in my head was Meg saying, man, take your big ass somewhere. So now when McDonald's want to do a Big Ack meal, I'm like, take your big. I think she caused me some mental distress. I was planning to sue. Yeah, newsflash. Yes. I got some money to waste too. Don't act like Megan Rock Nation the only person with the money. That's just like they could just throw in the toilet now. Hold on now. Meg the Stallion caused me severe mental distress when she commented on my weight. Chat, I've told you about my weight loss journey. I started everyday struggle in 2017. I was around 230 pounds. I gained 40 pounds. I went to 270. Everybody's commenting on my weight. Yo, look, Soulja Boy said, man, shut your fat ass up. I'm over here I couldn't sleep. I had sleep apnea. I got all type of shit going on. Finally, I've gotten to a healthier place in my life. I'm down to 212 pounds. But it took a while. What set me back, what fucked me up, lost me deals, I didn't speak to people for weeks, was Meg the Stallion using, and by the way, here's the thing, because I was going off precedence. Meg the Stallion claims that Milagro, who has 40,000 followers, made her pay $500,000 for therapy. 40,000 followers? The chick who did this got 40,000 followers. What do you think I felt like when someone with 32 million followers said that I should take my fat ass on? Come on, man. Think about it. That shit caused me severe mental trauma. I've thought about it. Yo, these days they're calling me Ozempidemics. Chat. Meg the Stallion triggers me every time. You know when she said she saw the Tory Lanez video with the horse foot being chopped up and it re-traumatized her? How do you think I felt when I seen Meg the Stallion cooking a struggle meal for that bench player Klay Thompson? I can't even look at food the same no more, chat. I told you I have this lawsuit waiting. Because bullying is not only one way. And that's what Meg would like for you to think. That she's innocent and she's never said things to offend others. You know how many people who are like bulimic or whatever the other shit is? Not anemic. What was the shit? Whatever the shit is. She's been trolling me about food and eating and calling me big back mentally over years. I think I got a lawsuit. But I was waiting for this one to conclude. I wanted to see the result. Because while some people just hate Tory, or some people just love Meg, they forget that what you're trying to endorse is a few things. That media can't have independent commentary, opinions, or stances that may even disagree with, let's say, what happens in a courtroom. Yes, they're supposed to bring you what happens in a courtroom, but they could say, no, we actually don't believe that. That didn't sound believable. Now, again, I'm not speaking on a deepfake video. I always thought that something is indefensible. I'm not here to defend Milagro in a deepfake video, but I've always been about understanding, are we all public personas here? It's not like we're speaking on her, I don't know if she has a sister or brother. We're not speaking on like private family members here. We're speaking on a public figure. So as she claims she's been bullied, and she's been saying that Tory is paying people, which is very, well, I don't know about anybody else. I can only speak for me. Imagine how I think that Tory is giving me a check. What that check would look like? Commissary money, nigga? What the fuck? I'm not saying Tory broke, but come on, bro. If she could convince people that she's being bullied when she has the biggest platforms of everybody, add me, Joe Budden, even Aiden Ross, add all our Instagram followers together, and you still don't equal what she has on Instagram. But according to the people who love and want her to be seen as a victim, Meg Thee Stallion says only she could be bullied. She can't bully other people. I felt bullied when she told me to take my, what'd she say? Take your big ass on somewhere. Holy. The way she spoke about me, I felt like Drewski. I felt like DJ Khaled opening up the fridge to a bunch. Yeah, y'all seen this? I felt like DJ Khaled when he opened up the fridge to a bunch of Haagen-Dazs. I'm serious. I was ashamed. This is how I felt. This is how I felt. When I walked to the kitchen next time, I was ashamed. I didn't eat for weeks. I opened the fridge, and when I looked in the fridge, even though the people around me was noticing that it was mentally affecting me, so they got a lot of salads, healthy things, green juices. I thought I was in LA. When I opened the fridge, because of the lack of sleep that I experienced, because of the mental trauma that Meg caused me by calling me big, all I felt I saw was Haagen-Dazs and Breyers. All I thought I seen was a bunch of fat shit. DoorDash want to fuck with me. I couldn't do it because that would be doubling down on the fatness. By the way, I got offered, this is actually facts, I got offered to do a food testing or tasting, like experience. I didn't want to buy into the meme that Meg Thee Stallion propagated. I lost out on hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. So I thought I had a case. Now, let me not drag this any more than I have. Why am I saying this now? I'm saying this now because currently I'm starting to reconsider if I should go forward with this. Why? In meeting with my lawyers, and I've been very upfront with this, shout out to Quinn Emanuel, but I'm using Quinn Emanuel type lawyers. We're not getting the rinky dinks. We're legit over here. They have quoted me in the six-figure ballpark for us to take this on. Now, I was down, and I'm still down to pursue it, but after seeing Meg Thee Stallion spend about $2 million, and if you haven't heard the final number, she was awarded $59,000. I've sent the text to the team, let's pump the brakes, because I'm a lot of things. I might be annoying. I might be loudmouth. I might be fat, but I definitely ain't stupid, and I definitely won't spend $2 million to go get $59,000. I'd rather just log on to stake.com. No way, no how. So I am rethinking my litigation versus Meg Thee Stallion in light of her misstep. She thought she was going to break the bank. She was going to get $30 million from someone that didn't have it. She was awarded $59,000. Meg, I might change my mind later, but you calling me big has severely ruined my life. The trajectory of my life, I went on a keto diet. Every time I see carbs, I feel like I see Meek Mill and Lil Baby merged into one. I'm scared of carbs because of you. I went on keto because of you. I'm starving myself because of you. I don't sleep because of you. All I'm trying to tell you is that when you took to your $30 million Instagram page and said I was big, I couldn't sleep. And it fucked me up, and your platform and your words should be held accountable, but I'm no dummy when it comes to money. I'm not going to spend $2 million and get $60,000. I'll leave that up to you. So let's get into her case chat. If you guys don't know, the verdict came down today. And it was a very convoluted verdict, but we're going to be here to explain it all. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Okay. So essentially, here's the verdict form. On count one of defamation, it was found by a jury, and I believe there were 9 people on the jury, most who were non-black. They found that by preponderance of the evidence, which means by, the majority of what they seen and what you would believe with the evidence, Milagro was liable for defamation per se by accusing Meg of perjury. Keep in mind, and this is why I'm telling you about how frivolous. Oh, by the way, who just sent in $100? Thank you. Who did that? Y'all keep sending the money. I might have to really sue her now. Hold on now. Hold on now. Because I'm just saying I don't have a Rock Nation to fund my shit. So like paying $2 million to make $59,000 just seems like a loss. But so, if the chat want me to go ahead, because I told you I was fucked up. I'm still fucked up behind it. I can't believe. I just can't. I can't. That shit has, I've thought about, and I did consultations for gastric bypass surgery. Yeah, fucked me up. Yup. Can't sleep. Didn't want to eat. So I was just trying to get the narrative on, are we suing people when they attack you and say things that's mean? Because I don't think mean people. Quinn Emanuel was saying, Milagro is mean. Have her pay us $30 million. And if y'all want $30 million from Milagro, who has 40,000 followers, I do believe that someone with 30 million followers maybe should give me $3 billion. Lord Hybrid, thank you for the 100, my boy. He says, sue her, Ack. It ain't about the award. It's about making her spend another $2 million to defend herself. Dig in her pockets, bro. We'll get back to it. So count one for defamation. They're saying they found, by preponderance of the evidence, that Ms. Cooper is liable for defamation. Now, this is why I'm telling you that Meg just wanted a win. How did they say she defamed her? She said, oh, you defamed Meg Thee Stallion by saying she committed perjury, which means lying under oath. Now, let's be honest. Everybody has said that Meg is a liar. Why? Because we've seen her lie. She said one thing here, and later she said another thing. And she's even admitted that she lied. There's, like, she's literally, like, it's not even like we just made this up. I want to use proof as we're going through this. So here's how it works when you're suing people. You can't sue people when they're telling the truth. So, honestly, I'm not sure how legal, I don't know how much of the law Milagro knows, okay? I don't know how much of the law Milagro knows, right? So when they had asked me in my deposition, do I believe she committed perjury? I know that perjury isn't, like, I don't even want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. That is something that the prosecutors are going to decide, and that is actually a criminal and a felonious criminal charge. It's like them trying to get me on a, do you think that person is a rapist? Well, why would I say that on the record? Because now it's upon me to prove that that person has actually committed the act that would make them that. So they got this obscure, like, I personally believe that Milagro was just saying, yo, this chick is a liar. And I think she convoluted that with basically saying perjury, but I know perjury isn't lying, right? Perjury is lying on the stand. So it's lying within a particular context, right? But here we go. Here we go, child.
To Gail King.
Here we go.
Yes, I lied to Gail King.
So when they say academics, why do you call her a liar? Well, she's documented saying, I lied. I didn't make that up. It's documented. Chat, am I making it up? Now, that's where Meg, who's trying to silence all her opposition, she's been trying to get people like me. You know why I keep saying, I know people say, no, you're next. I'm going to say every day. When I wake up, I stretch, I grab the Hennessy, and I say, Meg's a liar. I say it every day. Every day. She's a liar. You know why they haven't done nothing about it? Because she admitted she's a liar. She admitted she lied. Okay? That's why they've done nothing about it. Right? I'm saying what she done said. So, and by the way, thank you guys for the donation. I'm going to read all of them. Don't worry about it. Gamer Trey says, yo, Ak, I said I already sent 2 super chats, but he didn't read it because he didn't agree with what it's saying. You got to be consistent how you think, Ak. Hold on, no, what'd you say? I'll read it. I read it. Lord Hybrid, my boy, man. Thank you, my boy, Lord Hybrid. Everybody spam up some W's for my boy, Lord Hybrid. Also, Don Smooth, thank you for the 110. He says, Ak, you should do an album listing on the stream to Game's new albums, the Gangsta Grills mixtape, and bring back album listening reviews in general. Okay, I like that, and you know what, we might do it. Okay, it might have to be a kick rumble type of thing, but we could do it. Bro, if you sent in a super chat, I'll get to it. Hold on, I'll get to it now. Actually, what'd you say, Gamer Trey? Somebody says academics is not about the settlement; it's about making a point. Even you says you rather pay a lawyer $300K than to prove a point. Okay, all right. I'm gonna indulge you with that. I got time today. Okay, let me just tell y'all the painful truth about this. It's not about the settlement; it's to prove a point. Okay. What is the point that you think someone like me got from that? I'm not gonna lie to you. If I was in Milagro's position, that 75K or what would they put it, the 59K, nigga, I would have made $1 million off of the trial. So it's like, sure, let's do it. What if that doesn't? You sued the least on the totem pole of creators who have criticized you. If you're saying it's about to prove a point, I guess maybe it's to prove a point to smaller creators. What do you think that does to me? I give no fucks. You think that you think that shit like, oh, academics is shaking? No, nigga. Fuck. Wait, even the jury agrees that you don't deserve. You wanted 30 million, you got 59,000. Wait, that's supposed to deter me? You know how you deter somebody? You sue the biggest and get $300 million owed to you, and nobody else will do shit. You know what that says? Shit. First of all, I don't know Milagro's finances, but Milagro, baby girl, I hope you made more than 59,000 on. Yo, when that case was going on, I had 80,000 people watching me when the verdict came down. We was busting. We were busting that shit down like a kilo of coke. So, and Milagro was doing content as well. With all due respect, that 59,000, again, I look at that whole case, and the only takeaway for me is we're media. That 59,000, and by the way, here's the thing too. We're gonna get to remember the deep fake shit I can't defend. She wasn't held liable for defamation. There's no point here. I know some people love Meg. There's no point here. There's nobody in the media that is backing up Milagro for posting or alluding to a fake video of Meg getting fucked. Not one. None of us is standing behind it. What we're all standing behind is that if we think Meg's a fucking liar, we could say she's a fucking liar. Not only could you say she's a fucking liar, but if you want to not like her music, if you want to talk about her distastefully, like people talk about me consistently, and I don't sue, that is also fair. You're a public figure. Toughen up, Cookie. That's the point. That's what we cared about. So now, yes, she did lose the defamation, but you're skipping past, and I'm addressing your donation, but you're skipping past the crux of what everybody cares about, right? Because had Meg held Milagro liable for defamatory conduct, even though they narrowed it down to one thing, which is like perjury. It's the same thing, by the way. It's like Donald Trump got like $10 million, I believe. Like, it was the ABC's, one of these news channels. It is because they quoted one of his some allegation wrong, and they called him out. Look, but it's some really narrow thing. Look, Donald Trump wins $10 million from, was it ABC or something like that? Yeah, he got a settlement. You know why he got a settlement? So George Stephanopoulos, right, was a co-host, and here's the thing. He has Donald Trump has legal cases about sexual assault. Okay, he's not criminally charged for sexual assault, but he has civil cases. Now, when he was running for president, while bringing up his case, these when they trying to like shit, they do it with me. When they trying to like bring you down, they just start mentioning some random shit, but they'll mention it wrong to kind of trigger other shit in people's minds. Like, for example, like people said about me, don't you got cases? If somebody says, I have no criminal cases. I have no criminal cases. You get what I'm saying? But that's, if someone said that and they were a big platform, like say, I don't know, CNN put me in and says, Ak has a criminal case for blah, blah, I could sue them and I would win the same. But that's a very narrow thing. And that's why I'm trying to show you that with Meg trying to get Milagro, even they realize that you can't outlaw somebody not liking you. Shorty, we don't like you. We don't fucking like you. Fuck out of here. We don't like you. It ain't Tory. We don't like you. Period. That's it. Get over it. So let me go back to this case to further prove my point. Okay. Here we go. Hold on. Yeah, so basically, I think Trump had paid out a settlement or something like that. Like, it's a very thin line, right? Trump had paid out a settlement because he got sued for sexual assault or whatever. But when they reported it, they basically said that Trump was found liable. And that's not true. Trump wasn't found liable for sexual assault. And if you say something that's factually inaccurate, that depicts someone in a hurtful way that could damage, and he was trying to run for the president of the United States, that caused a payout. So let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Stephanopoulos wrongly claimed Trump had been found liable for rape, and that he defamed the victim of rape. Okay? Neither verdict involved finding a finding of rape under New York law. Okay? In the first lawsuit to go to trial, Trump was found liable. In the first lawsuit to go to trial, Trump was found liable last year of sexually assaulting and defaming, but it wasn't rape. It was like it was a very specific type. I don't know. It was just weird. But essentially what the dude said, and obviously he's saying rape to trigger people. Oh shit, Trump's a R word. And now people who might want to vote for him are like, no, Trump is a R word. Yo, that's clear damages. He has a $1 billion campaign going on for president. You're incorrectly speaking about a lawsuit that he has, acting like this guy's a rapist. Yes, you're going to have to pay $15 million. Pay up. That's how that works, right? So Meg Thee Stallion is trying to do the same thing, because you can't outlaw people not liking you. They don't like you. I could sit here and make fun of. I'm like, yo, she got eyebrows. I could do it all day. You can't sue me. Or if you sue me, we're just gonna get you're just gonna waste your time. I'm gonna make content out of it, and then we're gonna get our attorney fees back, right? Anyway, the point is this: Meg admitted she lied, so Meg can't get at nobody for them referring to her own admission.
Yes, I lied to Gayle King.
Allegedly.
First of all, I didn't know that bitch was even gonna ask me about that shit, but she's always gonna talk about the shooting. Why'd you ask me about Tory? That's not what this is about. Even if I was, I think it like once.
Listen.
Maybe twice on a drunk night.
Oh.
But you kept catching me out of my mind.
Exactly. So let's get back to this. So they narrow down what defamation is. They're saying the defamation is Milagro using the word perjury. So if Milagro just said Meg lied, no lawsuit for perjury. Not for perjury, sorry, for defamation. But they're defining what the defamation is by accusing her of perjury, which is a felony. Right? Okay. They said, I guess she also said she was a non-credible witness. And it says that the doc could go down a list of shit that wasn't true. And she asked, was Meg Thee Stallion caught trying to deceive the courts? Now, this is very interesting, and just stick with me for like, I know I've been dragging stuff. I'm going to start nailing points in a second. But so the jury actually said, yes, that is defamation. There was proof that Milagro did say that she committed perjury. She has not been charged with perjury. And by all accounts, it doesn't seem to be a perjurous testimony that Meg Thee Stallion did. So because they feel that happened and there was some proof that it was in the ecosystem that could have caused damages, they voted count one, yes. Now, it says, do you find by the preponderance of evidence that Ms. Cooper defamatory statements caused damages? They said yes. Okay? We're going to go down the damages in a second. During the time period when the statements were made, do you find by preponderance of evidence that Ms. Cooper provided disinterested and neutral commentary rather than advocacy for a particular group or personal interest? So I will admit, they said no. Okay? So they do believe that Milagro had an angle. So they feel like, basically saying, do you think she was biased? They say yes, she was biased. Cool. Question 4, during the time period when the statements were made, do you find by a preponderance of evidence that Ms. Cooper regularly disseminated news or information to the public rather than making isolated or one-time publication? It said yes. Okay. Which means she was constantly updating the public. During the period of time when the statements were made, do you find by preponderance of evidence that Ms. Cooper impartially disseminated information rather than acting primarily to promote her own business, products, or services? So they're saying, do you find that she was impartially disseminating information? They're saying they don't. So again, a bias question. So they're saying a few things. They felt like that one statement about perjury is defamation, and that they think that Milagro is biased. Question 6. During the time period when the statements were made, do you find by a preponderance of evidence that Ms. Cooper operated for the purpose of informing the public about matters of public concern through news reporting analysts or commentary? And this is where we get into the media realm. Is she media? So they agree that Milagro was trying to inform the public about matters of public interest, which would be what the media does. Question 7. During the time period when the statements were made, do you find by a preponderance of evidence that Ms. Cooper functioned in a similar manner to traditional media like newspapers, magazines, television, radio, or their online equivalents? They say yes again. They said, considering your answers from 3 to 7, do you find by preponderance of evidence that Mrs. Cooper should be treated as a media defendant with regards to the statements made in this case? They say yes again. Okay. Now, what does that matter? Again, the only count I really care about is the count 1, defamation. For example, if I say that rapper A, and you know my favorite subject. However, is that legal? Is that a legally available option for those people? And by the way, obviously, Meg Thee Stallion is not getting, we would call, like you say, everybody was calling Drake a Karen. No one's calling Meg Thee Stallion a Karen. They're like, no, you should sue. Drake suing, oh man, that's that white boy in him. Meg suing, valid. It is what it is, right? Now, again, this is defamation. So let's stick to count one. Let's go down to damages. So, do you find by the preponderance of evidence that Miss Cooper, or no, Mrs. Pete, which is Meg Thee Stallion, should be awarded compensatory damages for Miss Cooper for defamation per se? So, compensatory damages is what, and there's two type of damages. Compensatory, I'm gonna fuck up that word. Compensatory damages. What that means is they're going to compensate you for what they feel you have lost or the damage that's been incurred. Okay? Then the other type of damage is called punitive damage. And that is damages of we're going to punish you for breaking or for being for doing something wrong. So for you defaming someone, here's your punishment, right? And then you got to pay back the money or whatever. They felt that $15,000. They said yes. So they said $15,000, okay, is what Meg Thee Stallion should get for defamation. I want to make this abundantly clear when everybody's acting and jumping around about defamation because they believe that this was going to be the case to be able to wield your bank account and Quinn Emanuel lawyers to shut up independent bloggers. A court in Florida, federal court, the Southern District of Florida, they have ruled that, yes, there was defamatory conduct that occurred, but the amount to be paid to that was $15,000. So all of that, you spent hours staking out. They sent a mariachi band to Aiden Ross's house to play for hours until he came outside. They showed up to my crib and stayed outside for weeks. They're stalking people in other countries. They're doing the most. And at the end of that, they got awarded $15,000. We need to make this make some sense. Now, as per count 2, which we didn't get to, so we're going to ignore this right now. We're just staying on defamation. The second thing, so we know compensatory, they gave $15,000. And for punitive, here's the punitive. As for the defamation on question 1, what do you find for punitive, which is basically slap on the wrist, don't do that again? They fined $1,000. So they fined $16,000 for count 1, which is compensatory and also punitive. Now, this is where the drama comes in. Because the judge in the case, who some people call biased from day one, denied that they would accept Meg as a media defendant because they bought into Quinn Emanuel and Rock Nation lawyers and Meg Thee Stallion's claim that, she's just a blogger online. She's just a bum-ass blogger online. Why are we going to call her media? Media are these people who write newspapers. The judge actually agreed and wouldn't call Milagro media. However, and shout out to the new lawyer that got on the case. I think his name is McLimit. I forgot his name. I'm going to bring him up. But they made a new push to say, hey, judge, we ought to reconsider Milagro as a member of the media. She has multiple things in her career where she is exhibiting media ethics, reporting, or duties of members in the media. We're in a change in times. No, she doesn't have to go to school for journalism. No, she doesn't have to do these traditional things that we normally see with media. However, she is media. The judge wanted to, because usually when judges make a decision once, it's like when they deny your bail once, they don't like going back on their decision, right? Because it's almost like they got proven wrong. The judge said, you know what? I'm not going to rule on it. I'll rule post the case, but I'll put some instructions that the jury could chime in. The jury, as I just read, right? The jury, question 8, says Milagro should be treated as a media defendant in regards to the case. Now, why is that important? It's important for the count that I care about, which is count 1 of defamation. In Florida, if you are a media outlet, a media personality, or any defendant that is associated and recognized as media, because if the inflicting damage of defamation is by you doing your work, someone can't just run to the courts to file a defamation suit. They have a duty to reach out to the media outlet and send notice for a retraction, a request to cease and desist those actions. Essentially, you have to notify the person that they are committing a defamatory offense before you go to the court. Remember when I brought up Cardi B? Cardi B reached out to Tasha K. She sent legal notices to Tasha K before she went to the courts. Meg Thee Stallion never had a conversation with Milagro Cooper. She just ran straight to the court because she thought she was going to get a big check. Why does that matter? Because everybody reported that $75,000. And yes, everything added up. This is a jury form. It added up to $75,000. The judge in post realized that they agree that she should be treated as a media defendant. And as per the law in Florida, the judge says that they will not hold her liable for defamation. So 75,000 minus 16,000, this is where we get 59. So essentially, even though the jury did say they felt that that statement was defamatory, it's a moot point because they did not follow the proper procedure in filing a lawsuit or alerting Milagro to say, hey, you're defaming her by claiming she's being perjurous, or could you clear that up, or could you clarify that? Could you retract that? Because they didn't do that. Yes, I think the judge is slacking. They should have shot this down a long time ago, but the jury saw through it and said, nah, she's media. Like I'm media. Like everybody else is media when we're doing this. And if you're a YouTuber, you're coming up and you're trying to, you're giving your opinion, not because you don't sit there and write papers or you don't whatever. If you are covering the news and you're covering it in a way to, and yes, you could be entertaining while you do it. You could be entertaining. You could have jokes scattered through like me. You could have sometimes some satire in there, but if your goal is to inform people of matters of public interest, you are media, especially for the event or the thing that you are focused on at the time. So the judge, essentially, the whole count 1 basically is going to be ignored. So despite the jury saying, yes, there was a defamatory statement there, because they didn't go through the right steps, since she's a media outlet, that is kind of not necessarily thrown out, but she's not held liable. Okay? The next thing, which is count 2, intentional infliction of emotional distress. So do you find by the preponderance of evidence that Ms. Cooper intentionally or recklessly engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct to Ms. Pete? They said yes. Now, what does this mean? I think Meg was saying that there was some stalking. I don't know the depths of these two women relationships. I still believe that the majority of what is seen or heard in this case is two women from the same city. I'm going to be honest with you. and Meg Thee Stallion might see this and she might get mad at me saying this more than anything I've ever said. I think they look alike. I think they favor. Two black women. They favor. It's just that Meg is like 7 foot and Milagro is like 5'6" or something. I don't know. But I think they favor each other. I think that's one of the reasons. And by the way, that's not a negative thing. Like, Meg Thee Stallion is actually seen as very attractive. So it's like these are black women in the community that, kind of have that same kind of like skin complexion, like even facial structure to a certain extent. Body might be a little bit different, but like, they favor each other, if you ask me. And I think Meg took particular issue on a woman that kind of is from her city, looks like her, got that little southern twang like her, not believing her and not being a girl's girl and not taking her side and actually saying, no, I'm with the guy on this matter right here. Or, I'm not going to stand by and let this guy just go to jail. I believe him. And I think that's why she had a, she had an axe to grind when it came to Milagro. Personally, that's what I believe. So, but apparently there's some more information here where Meg claimed that this chick was stalking her, would bring up stuff about her family. I hear stuff about Meg's mom, which I believe passed away, with something with robberies, and I don't know. I don't know. But those were some of the other things that the jury agreed that there was some inordinate conduct in that sense. And they do believe that she caused intentional infliction of emotional distress. Now, keep in mind, and this is where Meg's claim of, I had to go through therapy, and I want you guys to see this. To me, this was crazy. Okay? This was crazy. By the way, let me pull up my own tweet and I'll find where it says this. Give me a second. Here we go. O'Sullivan, 30 million, ruin it for everybody. Here we go. Let me just find this. Okay. So 6 days ago, this is on 6 Florida. This is an NBC site. I want you guys to read along with me. So a federal jury was sent home. This is before they made the decision today. So it's right before Thanksgiving. They deliberated for 5 hours and they didn't figure out anything then. Pete alleges Cooper was paid thousands of dollars to attack her by people connected to the rappertory, who opened fire in her direction at that time. He's serving 10 years. And they're saying they're considering whether she maliciously and falsely attacked her as part of what they call witness intimidation effort before Lane's criminal trials and afterwards by accusing her of lying under oath. Pete's attorney, John O'Sullivan, argued that the rap superstar was so distraught by Cooper's words and actions that she suffered post-traumatic stress syndrome and required 2 separate 5-week stays in therapy. They cost $240,000 each. $580,000 she's claiming she paid for therapy. And she's accusing Milagro of being the person that sent her into a spiral. A mental spiral. Okay. And alleged that the ordeal caused her deal pipeline to clog up. She said she lost between $4 and $7 million in potential income, including a chance to appear on a Call of Duty project and even a Super Bowl ad. Imagine turning down a Super Bowl ad because of Milagro. Okay, I guess so. In seeking a stalking injunction against Cooper in February 2025, she said she was so depressed she contemplated suicide. She said, she's pushing me to the point where I feel like I don't want to make music anymore. I'm in such a low place. I didn't even know what I wanted to rap about. O'Sullivan suggested to the jury that compensatory and punitive damages could at least reach $30 million. Ooh. So they were telling the jury, hey, this is like $30 million worth of damage, y'all. This is $30 million. Now, this is clearly trying to copy the Cardi B playbook. Cardi B got awarded, I believe, like $4.something million, and they were hoping to get something of the sort. They were urging the jurors to punish the living daylights. This is a quote. Punish the living daylights out of people who ruin it for everyone. He's referring to journalists and others who publish truthful statements in various media and the readers and viewers who expect them to be based in fact. One series of questions jurors have to answer revolve whether she's a legitimate media defendant. The question included whether Cooper provided disinterested and neutral commentary rather than advocacy for a particular client or personal interests. They argued that she was doing Lane's bidding in questioning whether Pete was truthful about the shooting. Cooper testified she was a reporter, a non-traditional one. I'm a commentator. All I did was facilitate the conversation. If she's found to be a media defendant, Cooper's defense argued she should not be found liable in order to pay damages for defamation, which, by the way, we now would find out they believe she should not be held liable for the defamation claim. Well, they found that they say she's a media defendant, and the judge subsequently made the right decision. If Pete does prevail, it's unclear how much money she could recover from Cooper, who testified she was essentially broke, unable to pay her attorneys, but is trying to pay rent and groceries. Interesting. Wow. So the $16K was for defamation. That got wiped away. For count 2, let's go down to the damages and punitive, compensatory and punitive damages. For count 2, for compensatory, they gave $8,000. And they gave $1,000 for, so this is infliction of emotional distress. So they gave $9,000 for emotional distress. $16,000 for defamation, $9,000 for $9,000 for, what do you call it again? Emotional distress. So $9,000. So Meg Thee Stallion spent $580,000 for 2 5-week programs of therapy, and the jury sat there and listened to her cry again, sob, wipe tears, walk like this the whole time she's walking in court with a little pouch. And for all of that, they said your emotional damage is worth $9,000. $9,000, take it. Okay. Now, the last count, which I continue to tell y'all, I do not stand with Milagro with, is the promotion of an altered sexual depiction. Okay? This is the deepfake porn where she's told her followers, go check my likes, and it showed the video of a fake video of Meg being involved in some sexual activity. It says, do you find by the preponderance of evidence that Miss Cooper willfully and maliciously promoted without Miss Pete's consent a visual depiction of Miss Pete that she knew or reasonably should have known was an altered sexual depiction? They say yes. Do you find that she should be awarded compensatory damages for it? They say yes. Do you find that she should be offered punitive damage? They also say yes. No. Actually, it's only compensatory damage for that. Sorry. And the compensatory damages for that is $50,000. So they gave $50,000 for her telling people, go check my likes. Okay? So it added up. Remember, $16,000 plus $9,000 plus $50,000 added up to $75,000. But the judge, when they read the questionnaire, said, since y'all believe she's media, we're going to take off the $16,000 for defamation. So she has to pay $59,000. Okay? Now, I know people are begging for like this like win, and I see even Megan Cuniff. Megan Cuniff is like, she's like coping, like, oh no, yo, we got to get to the we got to get to the legal fees here, the lawyer fees. There was crazy catering. It probably hundreds, because they want to hear that Milagro has to pay hundreds of thousands. Well, listen here, bozos. It don't go to Meg anyway. Right now, that money's out of Meg's pockets. If anything, she would just get reimbursed, and the only people who win are the damn lawyers who sat for 9 hours questioning me, and they seemed like they were taking their sweet time. You know why? They were like, this dummy Meg gonna get us paid. So it seems like y'all are celebrating that the lawyer is gonna get paid instead of Meg getting paid. This is how dumb the internet is, chat. They're celebrating that, nah, it's gonna be more than $59K. Like, she spent $2 million in legal fees, so if the judge grants the legal fees and it's all of it, well, Well, she's gonna have to pay the $2 million. Meg don't get none of that. She don't get shit. But the 59 she's entitled to. So if you think it's a good deal to go sue somebody, and the win is for you to tell your lawyers, at least we got your law firm $2 million. What did you get out of it? $59,000. If that's the win, sure. Good. Sure. You got Quinn Emanuel, $2 extra million. Perfect. We'll leave that there. Okay. I'm on an hour and 40. I could go a little bit.